All right, so what you have to do is memorize what sine x looks like. And before you start, the only graph I want drawn in your color is your final answer. So the first one, draw it in just regular pencil. Sine x, you guys need to memorize, it looks like this. You're going to see that over and over and over. Just memorize it. Starts at 0, goes up to 1, back to 0, down to -1, back to 0. All right. Now we're going to find our 4 answers. Do y'all have a spot on your sheet for these 4 answers? Yes, you do. We're going to find these 4 answers for our new problem. So every problem, you're going to graph the parent graph, which is the first one, just the basic sine graph, and then you're going to graph the new problem. So our amplitude is 3. Look, 3's in front of sine, amplitude's 3. This is old stuff. This is you guys just filling out the chart. All right, Hunter, the formula for period was 2 pi over k. Remember that? So look, 2 pi over 1 is 2 pi. All right, there's not a phase shift. How do I know there's not a phase shift? No parentheses, put a dash. Location change is up 2. All right, so that is stuff you should already know how to do there. All right, look. How long is our first graph, guys? It goes from 0 to 2 pi, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, right? They're saying your new graph is also going to be 2 pi, so that's not going to change. We don't have to do anything with that. It's staying the same. I'll left it open. All right, so we've got to change location change, and we got to change the amplitude. Guys, when you have more than one thing that's got to change, start on the back and work your way to the front, okay? So here's how you do it. The location change is up 2. You got to move everything up 2. I want you to start off by drawing a dotted line. You can draw that with your color if you want to. Doesn't matter. Draw a dotted line up 2. Now move every point up 2 spaces. There. There. All right. Check out my new graph. That is what it looks like when you moved everything up 2. Say, Galvin, say it again.
We can draw the red dots and color pencils?
No, because that's not our last change. This is going to be our last change. Save your graph with the color for the last change.
It's different.
You should have all this written down for number 1.
Yeah.
Now your graph might be just a little different than mine, but it should be similar.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, so we have handled this. We fixed that. The last thing we got to do, guys, is the amplitude. All right, so I'm going to get a color. I'm going to get this right here, this checkerboard. My last graph's going to be in checkerboard. The amplitude is 3. Here's how you do an amplitude of 3. Go to where you stopped, which was my red graph. Y'all see these 3 points that are on the x-axis? Y'all see those? Keep those on the x-axis. Never move them. Keep them right there. And amplitude basically just means you're going to multiply by 3. So, y'all see where I went up 1 spot here? I'm going to change it. I'm now going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. Right here. Going down 1, so now I'm going to change it. Go down 1, 2, 3. That's your last graph. That's the only one that needs to be drawn in color. Yep.
Go down 3 from...
All right, Luke's got a good question. Luke, you go down 3 from the dotted line. That's one reason we put the dotted line, so you got somewhere to count from. Every year, kids that mess up on this, they'll count 3 from the dot. They go 1, 2, 3. They end up down here. Or on this dot, they count up 3 from there. They end up higher than you should be. All right, first problem. We'll get better at it. Anybody got another question?
I went to
I need a pencil, Cody. Can I try this?
Color pencil or regular pencil? Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
Pen ain't good.
Katie, send that back to Taylor. All right, so all I'm going to have to grade on your paper is your colored graph, because if that one's right, everything else has got to be right. Let's do another one. All right, here's number 2. All right, we've got a new problem. All right, Samari, we're doing new stuff. Number 2 says you got to start off by graphing cosine x. All right, look, this one's different. This one starts up here at 1, and it looks like a V, but watch me when I graph it. All right, when you graph it, Samari, it looks like handlebars on a bicycle. It's curved, it's not straight lines, Ashland. I need y'all to write that first in pencil on your graph. You're going to have to memorize number 1 where it looks like sine x, and this one, cosine x. All right, now let's find our 4 answers. Hunter, what's my amplitude on this one? If I don't see a number in front of cosine, what is it? All right, period. 2 pi over 1 is 2 pi again.
It's a little hard, but I might just be
Yeah, you just started.
seeing stuff.
All right, what's our phase shift, Samari? Remember on phase shift, you flip this sign, negative 3 pi over 2, divided by 1, so that's negative 3 pi over 2, and there's no location change.
That little thing right there ain't hard. But
No, that's not hard. The graphing is what's hard. All right, so there's not an amplitude change, guys. We were already going up 1. There's not an amplitude change. We don't have to worry about that. Period. There's not a period change because look, our graph is already from 0 to 2 pi. That didn't change. The only thing that changed on this problem is the phase shift. This is the easiest one to show you. All right, since we only have 1 change, get your color. This will be our final answer, so I'll draw it in a color. All you do on phase shift is either shift it right or shift it left. They want us to shift it back to negative 3 pi over 2. Negative 3 pi over 2, it's not on my sheet. It should be on yours. Is it on your sheet back here? Okay, so all we have to do is go back here and draw the same exact shape you had. So basically, I'm just moving every point back 1, 2, 3 spaces. And again, all I'll have to do is raise your color.
Yeah, let's just not.
All right, Samari, look. They wanted us to shift it back to negative 3 pi over 2. I took the first dot, I slid it back to negative 3 pi over 2, and I drew my shape. So all I did was slide it. All right, anybody got a question on number 2?
So it'll go.
It can either be shifted or slid right or slid left. This one, they wanted you to slide it left to negative 3 pi over 2.
What's the location change?
There's not one because there's nothing back here. Remember, so there's nothing. That's what you just filled in on your chart a few minutes ago. All right, here we go. Number 3.
Who created this?
I don't know. All right, so Samari, you were out when we did this. Your basic graph for sine x looks like this. It's just a curved line where you start at 0, go up to 1, back to 0, down 1, and then back up to 0. You have to memorize what that looks like on a sine x problem. All right, now let's find our 4 answers. All right, James, help me on this one. What's our amplitude going to be? 2, right? All right, period. This is the hardest one. What's the formula? It's 2 pi over k. So this one's 2 pi over 2. Y'all would put it in your calculator. This one's going to change to pi. All right, I don't have a phase shift. How do I know? No parentheses. I don't have a location change. So this problem, we've got 2 changes. Samari, when you have more than one thing you got to change, start in the back and work your way to the front, always. So we've got to do this first. We've got to change the period, okay? This is the hardest one to learn. Maybe it's just the hardest one for me to explain. Right now, period is from 0 to 2 pi. How many spaces is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now it's 4 spaces long. They want us to shorten it down to pi, which is from here to here is 2 spaces long. So you're going to keep the left side like it is, and you're just going to squeeze it in. So it's going to look like this. Same shape. I just squeezed it in so it's only 2 spaces long. All right, let's go on. Let's wrap that phone up, please. All right, anybody want to ask a question? Joey, we good? Nope. That was the first thing we changed. This will be our last change right here. All right, so all I did was shorten it. All right, so our last change. So get your color. We've already talked about amplitude one time. I'll say it again for Samari. On amplitude Samari, you see these 3 dots that are on the x-axis? Keep them there. Never move them. The only ones you got to move are the other ones. And now they want us to go up 2. So watch. You see where I went up 1? Now count up 2 instead. Right here I went down 1 originally. Now count down 2. And you got the same shape. It's just been stretched out. That's how you do an amplitude.
Where do you count from 3 out?
You count, I counted to 2
Okay, 2, not 3.
from the x-axis, Ada. So look, right here, again, a lot of people mess up. They'll count from the dot, Ada, 1, 2, and they'll end up here. You go back and you start at the x-axis. 1, 2. 1, 2. All right, ready for number 4. All right, here's 4. All right, we got to start number 4 by doing cosine. Samari, what did we say that cosine looks like?
3. I mean, dot. Wait,
What
what
are
are
you
you
talking
asking me? Because
All right, you were in class when we did this one.
Yeah.
Cosine looks like handlebars on a bicycle. So we start here, we start here. All right, again, you got to memorize sine and cosine. Make sure it's not a V. Make sure it looks like handlebars on a bike. Make sure it is curved. All right, let's go over our answers now. Samari, what's our amplitude on this one?
2.
Good. All right, let's check the period. There's a 1 there.
1.
2 pi over 1 stays 2 pi. So we're not going to have to do anything with that one because it's already 2 pi. I need to write this down. Pi over 2. That one's pi. 3 pi over 2. 2 pi. All right. Is there a phase shift on this one? There sure is. How do you know? Because it's got parentheses.
Negative pi.
Flip this sign, make it negative pi. Divide it by 1 gives you negative pi. And last, is there a location change, Hunter? Yep, up 1. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3 things we have to change. Where do I start if I got to change more than one thing? Start in the back, work your way to the front. All right, so first thing we're going to do is location change. That one's really easy. It says up 1. I need y'all to move everything up 1. First, I need y'all to put a dotted line up 1. That is going to be your new x-axis. You're going to have somewhere to count from when you count your amplitude. You count from the dotted line. So you have to put the dotted line up 1, and now move every point up 1. There you go. All right, we're good? Took care of that one. Next thing we're going to do is the phase shift. All right, phase shift is easy. It says negative pi. What does that mean? I'm either going to shift it right or I'm going to shift it left. I go to negative pi, just move the whole thing left. Here's negative pi right here. Take that first point, slide it down to right there. Now draw your shape. So now I can forget the light blue and the red one. The last one I drew is the blue one. So any other change I got to make will be from the blue one.
So the phase shift is when you...
Slide it.
Okay.
Shift it. Think about it. Shift it. Either shift it right or shift it left.
On the last one, why'd you have to squeeze it?
Because on the last problem, Luke, our period changed from 4 spaces to 2 spaces. It's not changing on this one. It wants you to keep it 4 spaces.
Wait, what?
2 pi is 4 spaces. Well, look, it was already 4 spaces, so we don't even have to mess with that. Last thing is the amplitude. All right, Samari, remember, on the amplitude, any point on the x-axis, guys, stays on the x-axis. You do not move. I'm going to count now to 2 from the dotted line. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. There you go. All right, question about that. Where I counted from, that should be the only one that's drawn in a color. So all I have to do is grade your last one. I don't have to grade the other ones.
Can I get 2 more colors, please?
I only want you to use 1 color now.
But
If you have 3 colors, how am I going to know which one to grade?
Never mind. But like, this don't look right.
You're drawing everything in the color.
You're doing
Pancakes
it.
on the floor. Yeah, but I don't have a pencil up here, Small.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought I had to.
No, that's okay. You weren't in here. Your last graph should be the only one in a color from now on. So I only have to grade that. All right, last one on this sheet. Number 5. Flip it over on the back. I believe number 5 is on the back. All right, so they want you to start off by drawing sine x. Already got it up there for you. You should have that one memorized anyway. So draw your sine x, then find your 4 answers, and then we'll see if we can graph it.
This is the one with the pencil, right?
The first 3 will be with the pencil. The last one is with the color. All right, Hunter Johns, what's our amplitude?
3.
Luke, period. Don't help him, Hunter. All right, remember, 2 pi over this number. So in your calculator, you'll put 2 pi over 2. So it's just pi, right? Samari, how can I look at this and know there is going to be a phase shift? Good. What you do is take positive 4 pi on top, divided by 2, so that'll be 2 pi. I didn't do y'all any favors on this. There's not a location change.
So that's it.
All right, so we got to change 3 things. That one, and that one. Where do I start if I got more than one thing to change? In the back, and work your way to the front. All right, so I hope y'all have enough room. If not, look, I had to draw a couple more spots down here. I think you're going to have to draw a couple more spots on yours. So I made this one 5 pi over 2, 3 pi, and 7 pi over 2. And the next one will be 4 pi. Draw those extra spaces for me on your graph, please.
Is that 7 pi over 2?
7 pi over 2 and then 4 pi. All right, we ready?
Yes.
We got to do this one. Phase shift. What does that mean again, Ada? It says a phase shift.
Shift.
You just either shift it right, guys, or you shift it left. This one, they want you to shift it down to 2 pi, which is right here. Take the first point, slide the whole thing down here, and draw your shape again. I don't normally make y'all shift it this far, so I'll try to keep it on the graph next time. All right, we handled this one. That one's done. What's next? Next, we got to shrink the period. All right, let's talk about this again. The blue line, the first line up here, started out by being 2 pi, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, right? Well, now they want us to shrink it down to pi. Look, guys, from 0 to pi is only how many spaces? Just 2. So I got to start it here, and I got to stop at 1, 2. I got to stop it right there. So I'm going to draw the same shape. I'm just going to shrink it. Now it looks like that. All right, last is our amplitude. Now we get our color, Samari. Now I'm on my last one. Amplitude's 3. Remember, keep these 3 on the x-axis. Don't ever move them. Now I got to count to 3. Where did I count to 3 from? The point or the x-axis? X-axis. 1. Oh, let me get over here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There you go.